What's happening, people? Dan Lawless here, West Ham fans. Even I'm with a special live video. We've just finished Friday Night Pint, and it don't stop. I'm here again with a preview. Geordies down south. Love this channel. We always have a good laugh and a bit of banter. Now, Clinton has brought backup. Talk me. You listen. You're a man down. Tell me who you bringing with you today. You've got potentially another one. I'm a man down as well.
First off, before I talk about introduce Pete, look at the smile on your face. I don't think I've seen you smile so much ever. And we all know why, which we'll get into. But yeah, my man down there, Pete, can hold his own as well. Needs no more introduction than that, really. But yeah, man, listen, I'm just happy to see you happy, innit? Because usually we're both miserable together, but now you're beaming. You're beaming.
Yeah.
Beaming. Got that passport out, ain't you?
The passport is ready. I'm starting to look at potential destinations, Eastern Europe, maybe Spain, some of them destinations. We're seeing sizing it up. But no, welcome, Pete. Obviously, your first time on the channel. Usually I have Clinton on, and it's just Clinton. I watched your stream. What was the game? The last one.
You just throwing shots in there. I just remember you just throwing shots in there. Enjoying life, I see. I was like, okay, let's see if he's talking all that talk now.
Yeah, so I thought, let's do it. I was supposed to have Jace with me, and he decided he couldn't handle his drink, and now he's too drunk to do the stream.
I'll let him off because obviously we've come out of lockdown now, innit? So he's probably making the most of it, right? So
yeah, exactly. He's gotten overexcited coming out of lockdown. It's but yeah, the thing is, me, Clinton and I, we often banter. We're back and forth on Twitter, and obviously one of the biggest debates we always have is, Golden Sullivan or Mike Ashley. Every time we make a signing, you're like, oh yeah, what about Golden? And every time you make a signing, I come back at you. Now you're trying to, I don't say put your chest out because obviously you're in relegation, but you're trying to throw it and now back at me because we're where we are. That this ends the argument. You're trying to say that this proves it.
Listen, Dan, there is no argument. How can you guys sign Jesse, aka Messi Lingardinho, and then he's being dubbed player of the season, and that's all because of the Dildo brothers? You know what I'm saying? So you can't really say nothing, can you? We're signing Duds, and you're signing Jesse, Messi, Lingard. You know what I mean? He's going to 15 euros and all sorts. End the conversation. I mean, Pete, anything else to add to that?
The one thing I say between the two owners is that, they're both not great, and that's putting it mildly. But the one thing I'll say is with the West Ham owners, if the West Ham fans push, they will react, and they will put some money in, and they'll put their money where their mouth is. We as Newcastle fans, we know, and Clinton knows as well, if we push, he just pushes back. And he digs his heels in even more, Mike Ashley. So that's the difference. If we had a little bit of spending power and we'd spent the sort of money that you guys have over the 10 years, if you rack it up in terms of how much we spent, you guys have blew us out the water, and that's what we want. We just wanted a bit of ambition.
Let's talk about net spend, though. Let's talk about net spend, as a man once said.
Arsenal fan TV.
Net spend. True. He's right.
To be fair, I'll be honest. If it was the net spend, we'd blitz it as well, because Benitez's net spend was in the. We were making profit, man. We were making profit under Benitez.
This is what ends it right there. Yeah, you still have your stake.
Come on, Lisa, come on. Listen, you're fourth. You're going into Europe. We're going to be playing QPR away next season, potentially.
Okay, but when you was fifth under Sir Alan Pardew, yeah, we was in the championship. Sir Alan, you might as well knight him because he took you fifth. And what did Benitez didn't even do that? Come on.
Oh, come on. Come on, bro.
But I'm saying you had your big finish, European spot, right? You was fifth. Yeah. And now we're finally having this thing. You can't say this decides it because you got to count that finish that you had, that fifth place.
Yeah. How many years ago was that? Come on. I had no hair then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how long ago it was. Come on.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter, does it? Because we've had one. I'd say it's equal, but like I said, we had to sell our ground to get. Well, we didn't have to, but that's what we were told. We sold our ground to get this. You guys still have Sports Direct Stadium.
We've had to sell our souls, and look where we are. Do you know what I mean? You sold your ground.
How have you sold your soul?
We sold our soul because we got Mike Ashley in charge. We've got Steve Bruce there. We've got flipping we've got people absolutely making a mockery of our black and white shirt. Joe Linton, for goodness sake, playing up front. Come on, bro. You was moaning on Twitter. I can remember our Twitter debates. You was moaning about, we haven't signed a striker or it. Antonio's on form, mate. Thomas Souček, come on. Other words.
Antonio's injured.
Shout out to the scouting network at West Ham. Listen, I'll give him more credit than you. Souček, Lingardinho, Antonio's having worldies of the season. Come on, bro.
Let's go back to the start of the season, right? The very first game of the season. you was feeling good. I was feeling the opposite, right? You just beat us 2-0 at our ground. Absolute terrible performance. Like Wilson completely just bossed the game. You was making signings that I was jealous of. I was looking at your transfer business. I was looking at Wilson. Ryan Fraser was highly rated. Jamal Lewis was highly rated. Like you was making signings that you must have been looking at going, you know what, this is some good business. Where we had sold Dean Garner, we was getting loan, but we weren't really spending at all. We got Ben Rama on loan, your guy Ben Rama. You know, we brought in Sufal for 5 mil. We got Dawson. Like, put yourself in the context of at the time. We didn't know that these players would go on to be good. You did some business. You did some good business on paper.
Listen, we both judged, all three of us judged all of those signings based off that one game. Now, how many games we into the season now? The business end of the season. Now we're looking at your signings compared to our signings. Probably only one of ours has probably come good, and that's Callum Wilson. If we're really being honest, this season, Callum Wilson, the only one that's come real good out of all them signings. Ryan Fraser, hit and miss. Jamal Lewis, he's not improving. In fact, he's depreciating in value like a used car. Who else we signed? Flipping the guy that scored against you as well. Flipping, what's his face? Jesus. Hendrick. That's it, Hendrick. Enough said about him, the better. And then we mentioned about your signings. Dawson, looking like a world beater.
But who was talking about this at the time? It's at the time. I'm talking about, say, even before that game, right?
No, but we're talking about now. Now, this is the business, and you can't judge anything by one game.
I think you're right, Dan. Like if you look at the signings, you know, we were all gassed, we were buzzing. You know, we'd spent a little bit of money, more money than I think me and Clinton will be honest. We spent more money than we thought we'd ever spend. You know, particularly, you know, we thought, you know, getting Callum Wilson was it. But then to go out and pay 13 million, which Mike Ashley doesn't do very often for Jamal Lewis, we're like, wow, like he's really looking to strengthen it in places that we needed to strengthen. And it's been years where we've been looking for a striker and a left back, you know, and we finally got them. But I think the difference for us is the realization of the manager that we've got looking after these players. And I think that's the big thing. I mean, look, you guys have done so well this season, and fair play to you guys. We've massively underachieved, and we could still go down, and there's still a good chance that can happen because we know what we're like as a club, and we can just implode at any second. But I think the key for us is that we've underperformed, and I think Steve Bruce, over the course of the season, and me and Clinton can name a lot of different milestones from November onwards where Steve Bruce has literally ran this team into the ground. And that, for me, is the difference. If we'd have had a better manager, and I'm not talking a world-class manager, I'm just talking about a mid-table manager. I'm talking about, you know, someone, you know, like I say, like a David Moyes or someone else in that position, that mid-position. I'm even saying a Roy Hodgson could have got more out of this team and this squad of players.
Roy Hodgson.
So I think that's the big difference.
Wow. Boy, Roy Hodgson as well, right? That'd be an interesting one. I'd love to see if you got rid of Bruce and you got Roy Hodgson. But yeah, look, so my mum commented here, do you have a proper built brick-built training facility, lads. And the question is, I know you guys have your training facilities, but at least it's built out of brick.
I don't know about that.
Have you seen the pool next to it? It's a paddling pool. So Kenny, if you want to talk about bricks and water, yeah, we might have bricks, but we ain't got a proper paddling pool. We've got to build one of those ones.
We've got
and the dustbin. I saw the dustbin. The wheelie bins. Yeah, you did have the. You did have the wheelie bins. Who took that? That can't have been taken by the club, surely. Please don't tell me that those pictures of them in a paddling pool and a flipping wheelie bin was taken by the club and like, yeah, the lads are at training. Let's put this out. They'll love that.
Would not surprise me.
Yeah, no, training facilities. Yeah, I mean, yours do look like ours is like the geography fucking classroom at secondary school. Like it's those little temporary buildings and that. But yeah, you guys do have the paddling pool.
You know what? When you look at the pictures of training on the official website, the actual pitches itself and the quality of the pitches and the layouts and everything else do look quality. They do look of a quality standard. But then if you look at the building, if you look at the facilities inside the building, it just looks like exactly what it is back in the early 2000s. Because at that point, it was one of the best training facilities in the Premier League. But the problem is that everyone around us has gone up to the next level. Your Tottenhams, your Man United, your Liverpools, your Man Cities, Leicester have got one of the best in Europe now. And you look at all those teams that have really gone on and really kicked on with modern football. We're just the same. We're just the same as what we were in the early 2000s, and that's the disappointing thing.
Let's talk about Steve Bruce then, right? Because listen, my guy Steve Bruce.
Your guy, yeah. You take it.
Listen. We was chatting on Friday Night Pint, and someone was talking about the actual great run of form that you guys are on and all the injuries that you guys have had. And so do you think that, Steve Brucey is getting a little bit too much criticism? Like, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve any, but do you think it's blown out of proportion slightly? And maybe the job he's doing is maybe going slightly underappreciated?
Dan,
he is the difficult.
Dan, the amount of talk sport rants I've seen you go on to, you're trying to hype onto them, aren't it? The Rios of this world, all of them, man, who try and bite. They want us to bite in it. You're trying to go down that route. If that's go down, we can do that. We can do that if you want, man.
But be real, like you are on a run of good form, right? You picked up some points. You're looking like you're going to stay up. I'm not saying that Newcastle's aim should just be in the league, but I'm just talking about just at the moment where he's at. And you did lose St. Maximin, you did lose Almiron, you've lost Wilson, like you've had some serious injuries. All this chat about like Liverpool's injuries, Leicester's injuries, bloody Man United or these other teams have injuries. You guys have had some key injuries, like proper first team type players. Like, has that got to be taken into consideration and go, all right, maybe he's not, maybe you probably could do better, but he's not quite the complete useless buffoon that he's being made out to be. Maybe he's been a little bit hard done by with injuries and things like that.
I mean, there's two ways of looking at it. There's first of all, like, this is the preparation of going into the season. Like, I always thought that Wilson's not going to see out the whole season. No one striker. You look at Antonio, for example. He's not going to see out the whole entire season, is it? It's stupid and naive to rely on one striker for a whole entire season. So we're not preparing in all sorts in that sense. But even when we have them available, it's still hit and miss. The fact that we've had to bring in some estate agent looking manager / coach and Graham Jones to get us a run of 2 decent games back to back in January and still doesn't make no difference. It just baffles. It just baffles you, innit? So what's that? Newcastle need to find
trust the process. Yeah. How long have Arsenal fans have been waiting 18 months? They're still trusting the process.
We can do this, man. We can do this because I know when you say you was cussing when Moyes came back. He's like, White and Jerry. He's come back again, and now it's Moyes. Like you call him like he's Mourinho. Just listen.
But that just shows that you have to trust the process, then, doesn't it?
Is it? Okay.
Maybe I should have trusted the process. Maybe that's on me.
Dan,
learn from my mistakes. Learn from me. I'm here to serve as a lesson for you.
No, look, we've had 18 months of this, longer than that, 20 months plus of this rubbish under Steve Bruce. We got lucky last season with a lot of lucky results, last-minute winners, where we probably didn't deserve 90% of them, that kept us in the league, right? His luck ran out this season, and that's why we are where we are right now. You can argue that, you know, around the sort of November, December time when we got the COVID outbreak and we lost a number of players, you could argue we were hard done by there because we were the first club to get the COVID outbreak. But what I would argue with that is around the December, January time, that the choices of players and the formation was all wrong. It was all wrong. That was down to Bruce. That was bad management, right? If you're looking at the results, you know, recently when we had a real good run of results where we could have won against the likes of West Brom, Villa, Wolves, and we had all of our top three boys out in Wilson, St Maximin, and Almiron. Yeah, you could argue it was harsh. Because they were games that we nailed down in our fixture list that we thought, you know, we could get 3 points from a number of these games, but we just didn't have the players available. And you're probably right to a certain extent that the fact that we didn't lose some of those games and we got points on the board is a positive. But like you said, you know, we shouldn't be just trying to scratch and claw to stay in the league. We should be, you know, I'm not saying we should be fighting for Europe. No, we're not good enough for that. But we should be at least comfortable like a Leeds and a Palace in mid-table, you know, thinking about, right, what we're going to do next season rather than worrying about what Fulham are doing every week and watching their every move.
But let's have it right. Look, we've got to bring up the R word. He's got the same squad as Rafa, minus Perez, yeah, and he spent more than Rafa. Yeah, because again, he was there. He was authorizing the Joe Linton move, so that again that counts as his 40 million. ASM, Wilson, Jamal Lewis.
You mean the Joe Linton that scored against Tottenham in that big win against Tottenham?
It was a draw, mate. Like, I'm not having.
It was a draw, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what Bruce said. Bruce said in his interview it was a win.
It felt like a win, didn't it? It felt like a win.
It felt like a win. These ones, it feels like a win. But you don't get more points for feeling like a win. It's a draw. That's how football works. If you both have the same amount of goals, then it's a draw.
This could be what Joe Linton needs, though, now to maybe kick on.
You've been saying this for time. No, Dan, come on, take it from us. We supported this team for a long time. Yeah. When Joe Linton bagged against League Two, flipping
Morecambe,
thank you very much. That's what Joe Linton needs. He just needs a run of games to score against League Two. What does he do? Doesn't score for flipping about 18 months. Yeah. Then he comes back, scores against his boys Tottenham again. Let's see what he's going to do. Okay, can he hit a Ballon d'Or in the next game? Hopefully so. In fact, I hope he does, just to prove me wrong and to take a little bit of that smirk away from you. That's it. And then probably end up scoring nothing for the rest of the season.
You look at Sunday. You look at Sunday against Burnley. That was his game to really kick on and put back-to-back.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
And he was dreadful. And he got pulled after 60 minutes, and rightly so. And St Maximin and Wilson come on and change the game, and we end up winning it off the back of that. And this is our problem: is that he'll get a goal.
Yeah, maybe Joe Linton tied out the defence though. You know what I mean? He tied them out, and then they let St Maximin come on and do the easy work. He softened them up.
You sound like some of our national Northeast journalists that try and create an angle for any player, any type of positive swerve to keep Bruce in the job.
Are you one of Bruce's bum boys like Robbie Savage and all them man there who go on the national media like, oh, Bruce has done all right. They need to respect him, you know. Come on, man. Come on. Yeah. When it hits peak times of David Moyes and they all start coming out, I'll be just tweeting away like, remember that time when, you know, Bruce was doing all right, underrated and all the rest of it? Yeah.
It's so Hammer Dreaded says Maximum is a baller, carries the side. Completely. Would you guys agree with that?
Of course. I always say, and Pete, I'm sure you'll agree, listen, we know he's not going to be forever. We're just going to enjoy him for the amount of time he's here. Similar to Wijnaldum when he was here. He was too good for us. He's too good for us now. All we got to do, it's a flip. We got him in for 20 mil. We could easily double that money. And, you know, this is just enjoying for when he's here. Look at the brilliance that he does. No, look at the Burnley goal, for example. Do you know what I mean? Today, people are comparing it to the Ben Arthur goal against Bolton, years ago. Like, it's that good. So, yeah, he carries the sides, fan favourite. And again, we got him for a decent price. And listen, if he could finish like more than half the chances, he probably he shouldn't even be at us, to be fair, but he probably would be at a higher side. You never know. He might end up with you boys next season.
Yeah, you know what? If he wants some European football, I wouldn't mind.
Look, it's a stepping stone. We tried to move away from that under Rafa Benitez as being a stepping stone, but that's quite quickly come back, and it is really for him. It's a stepping stone. Like, he needed to get out of French football at Nice because he was too good for that team. And look, he's still 23 years old. He's still a young lad. And he's learning his trade in arguably the best league in the world. He's added end product this season. Last season, it was all about individual brilliance, and he still gives that. But what he's been given this season is a little bit of end product. He might not be the assist maker, but he's the one that makes the right ball before the assist, or he creates something that creates the goal. And that's what he's adding to his game. And I think a lot of people will be scouting him because they can see that he's getting better. The only thing I'll question him about is his injury record. His injury record is not great. He has one bad injury every season that keeps him out for a significant period of time. This season, he's had two. He's had COVID, and then he had his groin injury. So that's the only thing. At 23, he had a number of injuries already. So that's a question mark. But for me, Clinton is actually absolutely right. I think if someone comes in with 40 plus million, I don't think he leaves for anything less than 40 million. He's just signed a new contract for another 6 years. So someone's going to have to buy him out of that contract, which is going to cost a lot of money. But yeah, we enjoy him whilst he's here. We did the same with Ben Arthur, Cabaye, Remy. You could go through the list. Rondon, various other players that have been and gone that we've really loved, that have been fan favourites. We enjoy them while they're here, and then they move on. Simple.
Imagine what failing retail chain Mike Ashley could bail out with that 40 million, eh? That could go to a really keep.
Imagine what he could have done with that 40 million paid for Joe Linton. He'd have had 80 million in the bank. He could have bought all the high street chains for that.
Yeah, that's a mad one. I mean, going back to that first game of the season, what was your thoughts like looking forward, right, for the season? So how did you feel your season would go, and how did you guys feel that our season would go after that game?
I think you guys, not now, but previously before, you're always like the benchmark for us. Like, you're one of the teams that we're kind of mentioning in the circle, and I don't know if it's vice versa, but it's kind of your sort of teams that we look at. And if we can beat you lot, then we're thinking, okay, we might be able to do something. This is kind of where we're at. We're not going to be, competing with the top fours of this world, even though we do. It's weird. Like, when we play the top four, we actually play better than we do them against like the bottom four. But yeah. Yeah, and then obviously, we come up against you, demolish you lot, and then, everything's good. And then after that, it's just hit and miss. I think Brighton was the next game after that, and then we lost. And then there's a run of games and we lost, and then we win a game, and then we can't. The thing is for us, and it's always been the same, is consistency. Do you know what I mean? We can never keep consistent against these teams that we're supposed to beat. And then we go up against a Man City, for example, and then we might get a good result, or a Tottenham, for example, when it feels like a win, even though it's not a win. So, I don't know, man. Look, the expectancy is always 17th and thereabouts, and it looks like we're odds-on favourite for that. I don't think Bruce will be getting any Manager of the Year award, though, not like your boy Moisey. So,
yeah. I mean, what have you guys made of West Ham season? Like, obviously, lately looking at West Ham from obviously a Newcastle fan's perspective, and like what have you guys been thinking on West Ham?
It's been impressive. It's been an impressive season. Like you said, when you go back to the first game of the season, you would have never. Nowhere, I don't think anyone in the Premier League would have expected West Ham to do what they've done, because they look really poor. And I think one thing for me after that first game of the season was shock, because we don't start seasons well. So the fact that we got 3 points against you guys, 2-0, and it was relatively comfortable, it gave us a lot of confidence. And you actually thought, West Ham were fighting relegation towards the back end of restart. and then you thought they lose again first game of the season. Oh, they're in for another battle again. But what you've done is Moyes seems to have galvanised the team. He's got players in the right position. The one thing that Clinton talked about is Mikel Antonio being fit. But actually, if you think about it, he's actually had a good run this season. Normally, his injuries are even more significant, and he plays even less football. But he's played a lot of football for you this season. I think he's been critical to that.
And he won't be available tomorrow, ironically.
I'm buzzing about that. Declan Rice too. I think they're two really key players. And in previous games, they've played. Those guys have played a big part. Going back to restart, Mikel Antonio tore us apart early on in the game at St James's Park at the restart, and I think he's the one that got the goal. So those players not playing, and it does change the way that you guys play. But what you've got is you've got a togetherness in the team, and I think that's grown over the season. You guys look like you're playing for each other. You're playing for the shirt, but you're playing for each other. And you've got key players in key positions. If you look at the spine, you've got Fabianski, who's a good goalkeeper, a Premier League goalkeeper. You've got Dawson that Clinton talked about, who's a solid signing. He's not one of those world beaters, but what he does, he works his arse off, and he can get a goal, but he's a good defender. Declan Rice, right in the middle with Souček, who's a goal scorer in himself. You've got Gerard Bowen, who's a very, very talented player. And then you've got Mikel Antonio. You've got a great spine of the team, and they're all playing well. They've all played consistently well over the season. And then what you've done is that when teams tend to dip off in the January, you go and bring Jesse Lingard in. And what that just brings a little bit of stardust into your team, that little bit of special moments like he did against Wolves. And so I think Moyes and the club have played the season really, really well. And fair play to you, because look, every team or most teams have a season like this where everything clicks together. But I think the key for you guys is securing European football and then building on it. So one thing that we didn't do in 2012, we had a fantastic season, and then we didn't sign anyone in the summer and build on it. You guys then got to think about, right, if you get Champions League, amazing. If you get Europe, fantastic. But it's not just about that. It's about how you build on it. What players do you sign? Don't just go out there and splash loads of money on big, expensive transfers. Get the right players. Get the right players that Moyes can build around and build your team to make you consistently good. Like what the likes of Wolves did for a couple of years.
Yeah, when you not signing Fellaini? Like, when's he coming in?
Jeez. Now, you know what? The funny thing is, I heard he's going to Tottenham. I heard his Fellaini's going to Tottenham.
Nah, listen, Fellaini to Moyes is like Cranchar to Harry Redknapp, man. You got to get the band back to get rid of it. Like,
he should have. I would have took him at Moyes' first time with us. Not so much now. I just got Zahid. Listen, I don't want to see us score 3 goals tomorrow. Yeah, I'd rather see us score 2, because every time we score 3 goals, it's pandemonium. We're all getting heart attacks in West Ham. We score 3 goals and that's it. We decide to just do a madness and let the other team just have their way, with the thing. And like,
hold on, I've got to say it for you. Don't you think it's funny that you guys are playing out your skin now when the fans are not there?
What about you lot then? Why aren't you playing out your skin without the angry Newcastle fans?
They need us getting up their back, because clearly Bruce is not doing enough. Do you know what I mean? Right. Have you seen Bruce on the sideline? Do you know what I mean? He doesn't look like we know what he's doing. Well, he technically doesn't, does he? Let's face it. He doesn't do something, does he? So
we need the fans. Our players need the fans. That's the difference.
Needs the fans.
What do you mean that's the difference? Our players love having the fans there. Our players need the fans.
Your players are scared of your fans running onto the pitch. We saw
maybe that's why your club's in the shape it's in, right? No one's scared of your fans. Mike Ashley's not scared of Newcastle fans. And maybe if he was, you'd have some better bloody players in that club, and you'd have a better manager in that club, and you wouldn't be in the shape that you're in. How about that?
So we need some Green Street style fans rushing Mike Ashley and Steve Bruce on the sidelines. Yeah?
All these protests outside Sports Direct, what's that doing?
Oh, mate, I've never been a part of it. I've never understood that. Never. It makes no sense. Why are you going to protest outside the shop when you own it?
Mike Ashley thinks it's funny. Mike Ashley thinks it's funny. It's been documented before. He laughs at stuff like that. So the fans think they're doing something about it.
If anything, it's getting more publicity for Sports Direct. It's getting free publicity on the news and stuff like that. Sky Sports, Sports Direct.
That's why he loves it. He loves it. So, Clinton's right. I've never been involved in that sort of stuff either, because it's the kind of thing he feeds off. All he thinks about is publicity and a free advertisement. That's exactly how he sees it. So all that stuff is pointless. What we need right now, I mean, the key for us is staying in the league. And it sounds really, disappointing saying that, because, we're still in an arbitration right now. I'm not saying it's going to go through. I'm not saying the club's going to be sold, but we need to stay in the league in order for that to go, in order for that to be, or even potentially come to fruition. So, ultimately we need him gone. But we need to stay in the Premier League in order to give us a chance to get rid of him. And that doesn't matter who owns the club. It's not, that's for anyone to come in and buy the club. We need to be a Premier League club for that.
You know what, though? If it happens, or if it comes back up again, you guys need to chill this time on the Mbappe and Neymar talk. All of that talk. I'm sure I saw Clinton go in like Mbappe to Newcastle confirmed.
It wasn't us.
Are you sure about that?
If anything, it was Fumbi. Like, I'm playing Fumbi. He wanted Kai Havertz so badly, but obviously look how
guys, yeah. Do you know what? I did feel bad for you guys. I mean, I didn't want to see you guys obviously completely in them Man City spots, and then because I've always liked to have you guys down with us to share
That's
the misery.
See, look, you always see us as like equal there, roughly thereabouts. Now you've got on your little surge now. It's all right. Yeah. Soon you'll be back down to our level when we're talking about, mid-table games,
It'd be like, imagine you and your mate like do a bank robbery and you both go to prison. You're sharing a cell. You're doing time together, and then your mate gets released like before you, and you're still in prison, not knowing when you're going to be out. You're going to be like, you're going to feel upset. You're going to feel like you wish you had your mate to do the time with. So,
That's definitely one way of looking at it. But,
So Richard here says he agrees with you guys that he thinks that it's your manager, it's Steve Bruce. That is a problem. I think there's a lot of problems at Newcastle, and not just.
There is a lot of problems, but he is the main one. He's one of the main ones, because even when we had Rafa in charge and we still obviously had Mike Ashley there, it was still bearable. Like we wasn't focused on Ashley being there. It's all right. Let him buy all the high street and all the rest of it. We got Rafa to focus on, but now Ashley back, and now we've got Bruce, we've got Lee Charnley, we've got Mike Ashley, we've got Dodds on the pitch. Like, it's all there. Like, there's nothing to look forward to. I don't even look forward to match days now. Obviously, we don't go, but I'm just like, we're playing now. Did we win? Nah, probably lost again, or we drew, whatever. It's nothing to look forward to. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So even the littlest of fixes is get rid of Steve Bruce, let his contract go, or whatever. However you want to get rid of him, get a decent manager in charge, and then I'll still support the club. Yeah, Mike Ashley might be there, but as long as it's a decent manager with knowing what he's doing, then we could potentially
to contradict what Pete was saying earlier. I actually think if you guys got relegated, it might increase your chances of being sold, because then he has to take a less of a price. He has to drop his asking prices, and a lot of owners seem to be buying championship clubs. A lot of these potential owners, that could be the way to get him out. Obviously, there's no guarantee you'll come back anytime soon, but it's a bit of hope, maybe. I don't think you will go down this season. I think it's a step too far for West Brom and Fulham, but that could have been an escape.
The problem with Mike Ashley is that he inherited over £100 million worth of debt that he didn't do his due diligence on. Get my words out. When he first signed the club, so he didn't do any due diligence on the club. And when he bought the club, he then realised there was over 100 million worth of debt. So what he's done over the course of his time at the club is kept that debt to the side as an interest-free sort of like debt, so to speak. So this
interest-free. Did you say interest-free? Well, guess what? Let me tell you something. Talking about who's got the worst owners, our owners charge us interest on our debt. They bought the debt like some loan sharks, and they charged us interest rather than pay it off, because they said by the time we move to the stadium, we will be debt-free. And technically, we are, but we're not, because we're in debt to them, and they charge us interest. So Mike Ashley's not charge you any interest. Come on.
Listen,
this is the problem. This is why we've not sold the club though, and this is why if you were to ever have your club sold, this is where the problems would arise. Is because Mike Ashley has added that 100 million onto the value. So when it's been promoted and advertised as the fact that it's a 340 million pound deal or 300 million or whatever it is, that 100 million is added into the price. So really, we're a club that should be valued at around 200 million. And there's been a lot of people that have wanted to buy the club that were willing to pay 200 million. But because of that additional 100 million, the 100 million that he inherited, that's what he wants, that money back if he's going to step aside. If we go into the Championship, we straight away, our value drops by at least 100 million. He's still going to want that 100 million. So the likelihood is he's probably not going to sell, because nobody in their right mind would pay 300 million to a Championship club, and rightly so. So we're then back to square one, and he would then have to put money in to try and get us promoted. And let's face it, the last 2 times we've got relegated, he's put money in to get us back first time. He's going to feel confident right now that he can do it again. And so we're then going to have to endure another year of Mike Ashley trying to get out the Championship. So I don't think it's the right thing if we go down. I think the only way that we survive going down is if the PIF, who have got money to burn, still want to buy the club. We don't know whether they do or whether they don't if we're in the Championship. But the only way is if they pay way above the value to secure the club, and that's the only way I think Mike Ashley sells if we go down.
I never thought he was going to get sold, man. I always say this to people. It's like
you was one of the. I was saying what I said earlier, but to be fair, you was saying throughout it's not happening for a long period of that.
It's never happening. It's because when clubs get taken over, you hear about it when it's done. Every other club is done. Boom. It's not no carry on like it's some Netflix series. Like, oh, is it gonna happen? Stay tuned next week. It's never like that. It's just done. And then the second thing. But Mike Ashley, it's a no-brainer. Like, it pretty much runs itself. He's got his managing director in Lee Charney who runs the club. He pops in every now and then, just sees if it's ticking over. Oh, what, the fans still hating me? Oh, nothing's changed. Oh, but how much we make bringing in? Cool. Oh, that ASM looks all right. We can sell him off in the summer. And it's all ticking over. Plus, it's free advertising for his main baby, which is Sports Direct. So again, why would you sell something that makes money, advertises your main baby to millions of eyes across the globe? Like, why would you sell, man? Just because some people hate him. Probably people at Sports Direct hate him, but he's not going to sell that anytime soon. So I always say he's probably not going to sell, man. Like, he's probably just going to pass it on to his son, and it's going to be like generational wealth. Just pass it on. So unless someone makes a stupid bid for it, then they're going to go.
Yeah, well, hopefully you get just a crazy season like we're having, and I hope we sustain it. I think we can potentially, because I see some people think we could do a Newcastle and then have this one season like you did under Pardew and then drop back down. It all depends on, like Peter said, what we do in the summer and that sustainably. If we can do that, we can maybe not be top four again, but we can be up there. In fact, actually, before we go on to the game, I want to ask you guys: do you think West Ham will get top four this season? Honest thoughts.
Who's up there at the moment? It's obviously Man City, Liverpool.
It's Man City, Man United. We're a point behind Leicester. If we beat you guys tomorrow, we go third above Leicester with another game in hand. So it's us in fourth, 2 points ahead of Chelsea in fifth, Liverpool, I think, then Spurs and everything. So
I don't know, man. It's like, at the moment, I'll take a little look at for your results in it. So obviously, I feel like you're the team in form out of that cluster of third down to whatever, six or whatever, out of the Chelsea, Liverpools, and Leicesters and stuff. So yeah, obviously not catching the top two. So I would like to see it. Oh, there we go. I would like to see it. Bro, you man are really up there, Wow.
Yeah, I think
it's crazy to see.
Us and Liverpool have the most favourable run of fixtures. Chelsea's our hardest game. We've obviously got you guys. We've got West Brom to play. We've got Southampton to play. I think we might have another Burnley. So Chelsea is our hardest game on paper. And then Chelsea have like Man City and Arsenal, and they have a few games. Leicester have a mad run of fixtures. I actually think they could drop out.
Obviously, I think the only team that can stop you is Leicester because any Iheanacho at the moment, every time I keep switching on, he's just bagging. Like if he continues that form, then he's the only person or the only person in that team can stop you guys doing your thing. But at the moment, as I said, Lingardino, I keep calling that, but he's doing his thing right now. Souček, when Rice comes back in, I don't know if you're going to get Antonio back anytime soon. So he's
done for the season.
Oh, he's done. He's still
much
got 3 players. Jarrod Bowen is another one. You still got 3 or 4 players on form. I don't think any other teams in that top 4 or 5 positions have got like multiple players on form. So like if one's off the pace that game, then someone else can step up as well. So I would like to see someone else like West Ham break the mold. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit boring kind of seeing the same ones. So yeah, you know.
What about you, Pete? What do you think? Yes or no? West Ham in the top 4 end of season?
I think tomorrow's going to give us our biggest indication of whether that's the case, if I'm honest with you. I think if you can go with a sort of an injury-ravaged team, I'm not sure if you know who's fit or who's not, because I know there was problems with
Creswell's
and a Bonner as well. So you had a few issues with those 3 players, in addition to the Antonio and Rice. I think if you can come to us and win, I think that will galvanise you guys. And I think over the next couple of weeks, if you can pick up some wins, or certainly 3 or 4 points within those 2 games, until you're in a position to get the likes of Rice and maybe 1 or 2 others back, I think you've got a great chance. However, you've always got the likes of Chelsea and Liverpool that are able to just turn it on at any moment. And with the players that they've got some star-studded players that can keep you guys below them. You've got as good a chance as any. Is what I'm going to go for. Just like we were in 2012, you've got as good a chance as any. You guys are sort of fighting fire with every team that you come against. The fact that you beat Leicester the other week, the fact that you went toe to toe with Arsenal and should have really won the game. You're doing bits at the moment, so you've got to be confident.
Would you take Europa League right now, or would you leave it to the last game of the season and try your luck? Like someone wants to say here, Europa League, I'm taking now, 6 games to go, or would you say, you know what, I'm gonna throw it all and gamble it all for the last?
Who are you, Chris Tarrant? Yeah, what's this? Want to be? Listen, you can have Fortnite, but we don't want to give you that. You have Europa League. We don't want to give you that. We want to give you I would definitely love to just go for this top 4. I think we won't have a better chance. I think with the run of fixtures, obviously, like you guys are saying, injuries are key. But like I was on another podcast, and when you look at it, we've had so many like hurdles thrown in our way this season. We had that crazy fixture run, opening fixture run after you guys, where we had Arsenal, Leicester, Wolves, Man City, Liverpool, Tottenham. We had all of these games, and we dealt with it. We got through. We picked up the points. Then we had like an injury to Masuaku, who was key to that back. After we lost that game to you, we started playing that back 5, and that was really working. So we lost Masuaku, and we was like, oh no, we're going to be back to a back 4. Like, what are we going to do? But we kept moving forward. We kept picking up points. Then we lost Antonio around that time. And then was like, no, like we've lost Antonio. What are we going to do? We still did it. We're still picking up points. We lost that Ogbonna. We lost Antonio again. We lost Ogbonna and all of these different things. And then Declan Rice. And now we're like, no, we're really screwed. Like, a lot of us thought was really screwed. And we're still winning. We're still picking up points. So somehow we're still moving forward. So I honestly believe in the team. And I think, I want to go for that top 4. And I think we could potentially, if we keep doing our thing, if we was to get 3rd, like I said, I think Leicester could drop out because of they've got the Maddison stuff and all of his madness where he's going partying with Hamza and he's tweeting while they're losing. Oh, great party, Hamza. Like,
I'll ask you again then. Do you need to give GSB more credit? Because, look.
The comments they go.
At the start of the season, it was Dean Gardner's gone. Oh my God, he's gone. And then he scored 1 or 2 goals and then nothing. And then, you bring in Lingardino. does bits. That's down to GSB. Come on.
Is it?
Come on. What do you mean, is it? What, did you think he just walked in and said, I'm playing for West Ham? Like, come on now.
No, but like, listen, no.
Give them credit. They didn't panic. They got rid of Dean Garner. They wanted to balance, remember? Balance the books. Lingardinho. Got Suchek. He signed a new contract as well. Come on.
No, I'm not giving them.
I remember when our chat, we had a chat and he said, got rid of Arnautovic, we didn't replace him. Did they panic? No, because they knew Antonio was some good. Look, you don't want to admit it.
About credit. I wouldn't even give them £5 T-Mobile voucher, let alone bloody credit for our signings, mate. Not at all. Listen, right, let me put you straight. Let me put you straight. Right, let's look at it when we go back to the summer. Right, it's not like Sullivan and Gold had this vision of like, you know what, we're gonna sign these type of players and we're gonna fit, that fit this mold, and we're gonna put a new director for. We're gonna this person have their stay. Like a lot of the ways that how we've done business. One thing I have to say is they've gave Moyes a bit more control. Whether they've given it or Moyes has demanded it because they was in a bind, and he was like. They needed a new manager and there was no one else available. And it's like, if I'm coming back, I want more control over the transfers. So I feel like a lot of the things that they've done, it's sort of fallen into it by mistake and it's in spite of them. Like Ben Rama, they got him on loan, right? So we sold Dean Garner and I don't like the circumstances.
They bring in Ben Rama as well, Pete.
Yeah, so we ended up
Ben Rama, Lingard.
Yeah.
Come on.
But Lingard Bowen in January as well. Bowen in January.
Yeah, but
we were meant to get him. We was going, Bowen, because Bruce gonna link up. No, Moyes like, nah.
Yeah, but because of but we haven't really. It's not like they've spent more than like particularly other clubs. I don't think they've.
You don't need to spend. No.
You don't. But that's the point. That's why Moyes gets the credit.
We're gonna get to this whole thing about you need to spend loads. It doesn't have to be loads. It just needs to be smart signings. Dalton was a smart sign. It didn't have to be. Look at him.
You give that to Moyes. You give that credit to Moyes.
Who's employed by?
Yeah, he's employed by GSB. But look at the Moyes signing. No, but look at the GSB. I dare you to do that in bloody down Green Street or something. No, like GSB. No, but even the Moyes signing, it's not like they had some vision of like, Moyes is the guy that's going to take this club. No. They was desperate. They sacked him the first time. They didn't even have the vision the first time to keep
him back again.
They thought he wasn't good enough the first time around, and then they went and went to Pellegrini. Yeah, that gave him the run around. Yeah, he was unhappy because they kept messing him about. Things ended how they ended. Then there was literally no managers available. It's not like they had the pick and they said, like Moyes, they had to. They was in a position where they had to sign Moyes. Moyes must have said, and I don't know this for sure, but I'm guessing he said, "Look, I want more control over the transfers. Let me go." And the guy was at Brighton game the other day. He goes to all the football games and scouts people, and so I give full credit to the players because look at this. They sold Sebastian Haller and didn't sign another striker. Like our squad is the thinnest squad in the league,
but they didn't need to, Dan. They put Ben Rama and Lingardinho.
No, but listen, but this was still
you don't want to admit it. No, because it was two good signings.
Because we're doing it. Yeah, they're good signings. Like they're good signings.
They signed themselves, Dan.
Yeah, but all right. So all right, cool. Saint Maxim. Then. Who signed Saint Maxim? Who signed Almiron?
Yeah.
Who signed Isaac Hayden? Or was he academy or whatever?
Rafa Benitez.
Who employed Rafa Benitez? Who gave you your precious beloved Rafa Benitez?
They backed him. If he brought him back, then I would have backed him.
Maybe he will. You got to trust the process.
He's not here now.
You got to trust the process.
At the moment, on the 16th of April, we're talking about giving GSB credit. At the moment, I can't give Mike Ashley credit. His credit's run out. He's got Steve Bruce. He hasn't got Rafa Benitez. You've got Jesse.
Give him credit then.
Ben Rama.
We're in 17th position.
You are in backdated credit then.
We're not in a position to give anybody any credit right now.
You are in backdated credit.
You're sitting in fourth place looking at Champions League with a distinct possibility of finishing. You know, if you win tomorrow, you can go potentially, is it the second or third place? If you win tomorrow, you've got you have more of a right to say, you know what, your ownership have made good decisions this season. They've signed good players. They've allowed Moyes to run the club how he wanted to. Like you said, potentially give him more control. You've got more of a reason to say, you know what, they've got it right. I don't always agree with them. A lot of the time, they make bad decisions, just like Mike Ashley. But in this season, like Clinton has just said, at this point in April, today, you're at the point where you can say, you know what?
Why didn't you guys give Ashley credit ever?
I never heard your fan base. Man, rational, smart.
No, but when you was fifth under Pardew, yeah, when you was doing all them bits under Rafa, I never heard you guys say, you know what? It's a good job. I'm so glad Mike Ashley has done this. Mike Ashley, I've got to give him credit. Give Mike Ashley props. You never did that.
We had twice. As a fan base, we did twice. The one time we did, in fact, 3 times. The first time was with Chris Hughton, because he allowed Chris Hughton to sign who he wanted to sign, to keep who he wanted to keep in order to get us back in the Premiership 2009. He then very quickly turned that goodwill round and sacked him midway through the season for no apparent reason whatsoever. We were comfortable in mid-table after coming straight back up. So he's then, that's number one. Number two.
But did it come out of your mouth though?
What? The
praise and the credit for Ashley.
And the credit was again the same in 2012 when we got 5th in the league, because he allowed the manager, Pardew at the time, to bring in the likes of Tiote, Ben Arthur, and a number of other players that got us into that position, Kabai as well. To get into that position, Demba Ba, Papi Cisse in January, he was making the right decisions. And then very quickly, he then doesn't sign anyone in the summer transfer.
We've got
5 million, right? He doesn't sign anyone, and then literally sort of goes against the fans completely and doesn't show any support for the manager or the players whatsoever. He then very quickly after that sells Demba Ba, then Kabai leaves, and then Hatem Ben Arfa leaves just after that. So, you know, it goes back again. Rafa Benitez. He signs Rafa Benitez after we get relegated to a 3-year contract and says, Rafa Benitez, what you want, you get. You decide on who we sign and who we sell. Great. We went and signed Dwight Gale. We went and signed Matt Ritchie. We went and signed Matt Sells and various other players. Hayden, Yedlin, signed players right and ready for the championship. And for long parts, we blitzed it. Then what happens in January? We have money in the kitty because we don't spend the Sissoko money. We don't spend the Genie Wan Alden money, the Tovan money. None of that money gets sold. January in the Championship, he wants to go out and bring Andros Townsend back to give us that little bit of extra to get us into the position where we get promoted. What does he do? He turns around and says, no, I decide the transfers now. And that's where the problems start. So all the goodwill, we get to a point where we think, you know what, he's making the right decisions here. And then very quickly it goes. And he does something that completely destroys that faith that we have in him, or we start to build in him. So that's the difference.
That similar thing happens with us. But look, I'd say this, and I've said this, right, that it's not just about this season. I'm not going to give them credit off the back of one season. I need to see it consistently. I need to see what we do next season, right? Before I look at credit, because we had that last season at Upton Park, right, where we finished 7th. We was in touching distance of 4th. This is before I really fell out with them, right? I wasn't like super fan, but I weren't super against them at that point in time. But we were where we were, right? We had a good season. Next season, it was a disaster, and we'd made all the wrong decisions, and it went disaster after disaster. I need to see consistency, and that doesn't mean us being in the Champions League next season. It means us being in that around that top 8, or at least being comfortably top 10. If we're back in a relegation battle next season or bottom half, it's all for nothing. Like, what's the point? I don't want to be this team that has that, you know, like what we have been in the past and what Newcastle's been, where you have this one little magic season and then it's back down to the mire, you know. And but that's when I'll give them credit.
During the season, look at you trying to weasel out of it. You're not getting out of it. Give them credit, man. Give them credit. But I'm asking you, during that Dimitri Payet season, scoring worldies, did you credit because that was a season. That's the last memorable season I can remember of West Ham. That was good.
Well, of course, we all there. Yeah,
Andy Carroll was there, weren't he?
Andy Carroll was there. Yeah. Andy Carroll was there. Yeah, that was, of course, we were saying, like, what a great signing. We got him for 10 million, 12 million.
No. I didn't say, is that a good signing?
I told you.
Say GSB, and did you have them tatted on your chest and say, yo, GSB for life, baby?
Listen, I didn't say nothing about the B. I've ever given B a bit of credit. I've said she's a smart businesswoman, but I ain't really given her credit. But no, I said like they was smart with that signing. I said they done a good signing and they did well. And I actually, a lot of us at them times didn't have too much. There wasn't no GSB out at that time. There was still people that didn't like him, but there wasn't GSB out. Wasn't a movement back then in those times. And I wasn't, I was for, I didn't want to leave. But I thought, like, okay, we're moving and they're going to invest and they're going to take us to the next level. Wool was pulled over my eyes, other people's eyes. Maybe I was probably naive, but I had hope in my heart. So I have given them credit in the past, but then they've let me down time and time again. And I need to see a lot from them if they're going to win back that trust and make me give them some credit. In fact, since we moved, I've said to Moyes when he's took more of a back seat on transfers and he's getting less involved. But that's just me. But that's what he should be doing anyway. I shouldn't even give him credit for that because he shouldn't have been getting so heavily involved in the first place. The same when I said, at least they've been less vocal on social media and been talking all that. But then they should be doing that anyway. They shouldn't be coming out and embarrassing us week in, week out, in the public eye. So I can't keep giving them credit for things that they just should be doing anyway. Yes, we've made some smart buys, but I have to give Moyes and the players the credit. And Moyes hasn't really been backed, has he? Like, there's still.
I mean, Ben Rama and Lingard is back to me.
Like, Lingard's a loan. Of course, it's a loan.
Yeah, but you're paying him 150 grand a week. That's what you're doing.
That's and you loaned him in from Manchester United. You're talking, acting like he's Marco Boogers or something like that, bro. Like, come on. I remember them days when you're signing them sort of man there. Marco Boogers and that. This ain't no Marco Boogers. That's Jesse Lingard. England international now, scoring worldies. So let me finish the picture for you, Dan. Hold on. If you come to the end of the season, you finish top 4, you're going Champions League, you're going to be playing the likes of PSG, Real Madrid, all of these guys. Are you saying GSB in? And I'm not talking about in, I'm talking about in. Like in.
Nah.
No.
Listen, no. I'm GSB. Listen, regardless, they are not.
What? Top 4 Champions League ahead of Chelsea and Liverpool and all of these guys.
You mean this season?
I mean this season. Like the season.
Still GSB out. Still GSB out. Still completely. Yeah.
And Pete, you get labelled as deluded, man. Come on now. Come on.
Are you Wait a minute. So you tell me that if your players didn't get injured, right? Let's imagine Steve Bruce is Steve Brucinho, yeah.
This ready to talk sport now. Look, come on.
Right. Steve Bruce has got like a Spanish cousin. He's your manager, and he's taken you up the league, and you're where we are, and you finish in that top 4, right? This one season, you're gonna forget every single thing that Mike Ashley has done to your football club. Because of one,
I'm still screaming Rafa Benitez, Spanish cousin, Rafa Benitez. Like, listen, top 4 is top 4, baby.
So wait, you changed your whole stance. That's a flip flop.
I said no. Listen, I'm not forgetting everything. I'm not forgetting the likes of bringing in Joe Kinnear and flipping Sam Allardyce and the Wally with the Brolly and signing Joe Linton and changing the stadium names. I'm not forgetting all that.
Not signing Rondon.
You can't forget all those things. Like, we'll be here for another hour. You can't forget all those things. But if we're in a top 4 situation, you can't deny that. You can't be like, yo.
Yeah, but you changed from wanting new ownership to not wanting new ownership now that you're just 4th for one season. That after one season, you want to keep. Now it's like we've wanted Mike Ashley out season after season. Oh, but we're 4th. No, I want him now. I don't want new owners now.
Listen to what I said.
We believe.
Earlier, I said I forgot about Mike Ashley when Rafa was here. Had Rafa given more time, if Rafa was here, we probably would have been pushing up and up. Remember,
but there's a difference between forgetting about. There's a difference between me forgetting about GSB and being GSB in. GSB in is me saying I want them to stay. I'm happy with
All
GSB.
right. Maybe not GSB in.
I get that.
GSB can hang around. Maybe not GSB in, but GSB can hang around rather than storming the flipping pitch and all the rest of it. It's just GSB can chill. They can chill over there.
Yeah.
Don't make too much noise and all the rest of it.
Look, I would rather listen. I like not having to talk about Gold, Sullivan, and Brady. Right? I love it when I'm focusing on the football. I would love a season where we're just focusing on maybe a good Champions League run. We maybe get to the round.
Well, like
no, I mean actually in the Champions League. I say next season. Say we got to the flipping round of 16 and we had a good run, or like say a quarter, say some magical season, or we had a good cup run. Just a season where we could focus on the football, right? We know that Gold, Sullivan, and Brady are probably not going to sell up until 2023 when this thing passes. But regardless, I don't have any faith in them or their children when they take over to run the club. They're not just going to change their spots after all of these years. They've been terrible since like they started ownership in the early 90s under Birmingham. They're suddenly just going to be great owners now. They've fallen into this.
They're taking a while just to adjust, Dan. Like you said earlier, maybe they're taking a while to adjust. With Mike Ashley, it's been 13 years, and there's not been too many adjustments, Dan. It's only been one, and it was a fluke. Whereas you had the Dimitri Payet season. Now you've got the David Moyes era part 2. GSB in. Come on, Dan. Get with the program.
Maybe trust the process, Dan. Maybe trust the process.
That's a long process.
But look, I thought I needed to get that in there because you said it earlier.
That'd be a long ass process.
But I have to be honest. Dan, I do agree with you. Like it if we had a great season like we had in the 5th place, what it did for us as fans, it made us think, actually, has Mike Ashley changed? Let's see what he does next season to show that he's going to be consistent and back it up again. And he didn't. He failed us. What you'd need to do is exactly the same. If they got you into Europe, it'd need to be a case of, okay, show us what you're about. We think you may have changed. Prove it to us. Prove it to us by the backing of signings. Prove it to us about the fact that you're going to run the club the way in which we want you to run it. And let's see from that. And if they fail you again, then you've got a reason to go back to GSB out, get rid of them, get them gone. Because that's what we've been like with Mike Ashley. We've had like nearly 14 years of the odd season doing the right thing, but then the rest of them just completely letting us down time and time again. So I do get that. But I would say in our 13 years, 14 years under Ashley, you guys, although you've had time in the Championship as well, you guys have probably had more top 10 finishes and more chances of European football than us.
You've had two. I think you've had 2 top 10 finishes, and we've had 2, not counting this season, if I remember rightly. No, well, we've had 3. No, you've had 3, and we've had 3. We finished.
Dan, all I would say is next season, when you're going on your travels and stuff, can you bring us back some fancy croissants from PSG, from France when you go to PSG, and we'll bring you some like stick of rock when we play Brighton away in the Championship? Do you know what I mean? That's the levels, yeah.
Sure.
Croissants from you and stick of rock Brighton away in the Championship.
No, you ain't. Listen, Brighton are secure. You don't worry about Brighton. You won't be playing them. You won't be playing them for a while. You go Blackpool. That's what you.
Yeah, everyone else on the way there in Blackpool. You know what I mean? I'll give you some soggy fish and chips from there. Bring them back to you. They'll probably be cold by the time we get back. There you go, mate. You know?
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Like I said, before I go mad on anything, it has to be consistent. Back-to-back seasons. But looking at tomorrow, then let's get to the game.
Oh yeah, I forgot there's a game.
Yeah, no, we can do Mike Ashley and GSB. How are you guys feeling tomorrow? Confident, not confident? What are your thoughts in the game?
I'm never confident, man. I'm never confident. I just look for the end result now. I just like, all I go is to the hour before, see the lineup. Okay, that person should be playing. Why is that person on the bench? How come he's in midfield again? It's always like 3 things that I want to change. And then, you always can kind of tell by the first 10 minutes or so how it's going to go down. Usually we're camped in our half and we can't get out, or we might score one goal, but then we just blow our steam and that's it. Like we're hanging on for dear life from like minute 10 to minute 92. So I'm not confident. Again, if we get a point or so, that means we've taken 4 points from potential Champions League, not finalists, but people that are going to qualify for Champions League. So if we get a point, happy days. We've taken 3 points already in the early of the season. That to us is something that we could put a DVD on. A point against Hammers and 3 points this season. Get the t-shirts out, and yeah, that's our cup final because we ain't got nothing else to look forward to. What about you, Pete?
I don't think we'll lose the game, if I'm honest with you, and I'm confident going into the game that I think we'll win. I'm not saying we're definitely going to win, but I think we've got a good chance of winning. And the reason being is because
Steve Bruce.
No, definitely not. Anything we do positive is not about Steve Bruce. Let's
wait. Yeah, you guys brought in that assistant manager guy or that new coach, and when he was winning, it was like, it's because of Graham or whatever his name was. We're winning because of him. Graham Jones. Graham's helping us win now. And then you start losing. It was like, never heard of Graham's name ever mentioned again when we started losing.
Look, Graham Jones has changed the way in which we play. He changed the system. He's changed in terms of the personnel, in terms of what they're expected to do. You can see it on the sidelines. The players during the game, when there's a break in play, they don't go and speak to Steve Bruce. They go and speak to Graham Jones. They listen to him. It's been well documented that he takes all the training sessions. It's been also well documented that during the week, Steve Bruce doesn't attend some of the training sessions. He literally is in his office and Graham Jones runs the training session. So he has come in and made a difference. That's 100% a dead cert. But look, I'm confident because if you look at West Ham have been on a fantastic run. They've grinded out results. They've played well. They've scored goals. But I do believe at some point that the injuries are going to take its toll. I do believe that the run is going to drop at some point. And I think with you guys coming to us tomorrow, at a ground that you guys don't necessarily play well at or get a lot of results at. I think you've won 4 times in the last, 15, 16, 17 years?
Recently, we've done better, a bit more recent times.
Yeah, you do last season. I think we beat the season before. I think there was one season with Felipe Anderson where I think you won 3-0. And you look really, really good that game. But in general, we tend to get results against you at our place. And I think an accumulation of that will be that we get the points. That we get the points. I think we'll at least get a point from you. And I've always been confident about this game. And I think it's because of the fact that you guys don't always travel well to St. James's Park. And it's not necessarily about where you are in the table at this point in time. You guys are under a lot of pressure now because you're expected to challenge top 4. And with that comes an additional pressure. And for a lot of your players in the squad, apart from the likes of Lingard and maybe 1 or 2 others, it's whether they're able to manage that. And that's why I say tomorrow's a big game for West Ham, because it tells us a lot about where they're at as a team, as a club. It's all right playing against the likes of Leicester and Arsenal, those teams where, naturally teams raise their game anyway for those teams that are up there challenging. But it's what you do with these other teams.
We've got 3 ball.
But Wolves have played the same way. Wolves are not having a good season. I that's granted, and I agree with that. But Wolves always play the same way. They like to counter-attack. They like to get players forward. They like to create chances. The likes of Adama Traore, Neto, William Jose. They like to get those players forward, which gives you gaps on the counter-attack to push forward. We're not that type of team. We're very much, we've got those bank of 3 centre-backs that like to stay solid. You've got those workman-like players on the wing-backs now that work up and down. You're not going to get those sort of same gaps, particularly at home. And I say at home, and I've said it for quite a while now, we play our best football at home. And I just think that we'll cause some problems for you guys, particularly in your attacking area. But with the likes of Maxi and Wilson and Miggy back, I think we've got a genuine threat to get you the other way. And the one thing that you guys have done recently is concede a lot of goals.
I remember that time. at the London Stadium where St. Maximin actually retired Zabaleta, bro. He actually retired.
That was Pellegrini's just that it was that game when I turned on Pellegrini. That was the game
I remember
turned on Pellegrini.
I felt for Zabaleta. I thought that's when he had to go into retirement. He thought, you know what, I'm too old for this shit.
I don't think he played again, did he? I don't think he played again.
Can we talk about the game when Declan Rice just ended Longstaff's career? Can we talk about that one? Can we talk about that one?
We got injured.
Where is he though?
He was out for 4 months.
All of a sudden, he was like the next big thing, and it was like, you know, where there was that guy, Sean Longstaff. It's all about us. This Declan Rice, woo, and giving it all of that, yeah, and doing Ric Flair and all of this business, yeah, all of this business, giving it all the bigger Newcastle fans were, nah, Declan Rice, he's rubbish. It's all about Longstaff. We don't hear it. Even his brother's better than him now. What was that about? Come on.
Neither of them, man. Both of them have been banished from playing, bro. Like,
I feel like that's the curse. I feel like fans need to stop trying to compare their players because it curses your player.
It's not even that. It's just that they've just been banished by Bruce. So for some reason, there's something mad going on there. No, seriously.
It's all Bruce. It's all Bruce's fault. That's what it is. All your relegations that you had before was Steve Bruce. Well, maybe when he was Sunderland manager.
Clinton's absolutely right, though. There was clearly a fallout between both of the Longstaffs and Bruce because they were literally exiled from the team. They weren't even making the squads. You look at Longstaff now in the last 2 games that he's played against Tottenham, against Burnley. He was arguably one of our best players on the pitch, and he was absolutely quality. And you know that's what we get from Sean Longstaff. I think the thing that's helped him is the fact that we're playing now 3 in midfield effectively. So you've got Shelby as the sitter, you've got Longstaff, and particularly on Sunday against Burnley, you had Miguel Almiron on the other side. So you've got a lot of legs, a lot of running, and he's got that supporting midfield to pack out the midfield, and I think that helps him. But you know, at that point, that season where you're talking about the Rice Longstaff, they were at equals at that point because they were playing just as good as each other. But I think we as a fan base were slightly premature with Longstaff because he's not been in the team that long, but he was playing exceptionally well. But that knee injury where he was out for 4 months and effectively didn't then play again until late on into the next season, I think that really knocked him. And the fact that then he was playing under Steve Bruce at that point completely knocked him, like it would knock any other player.
But let's face it as well, like Rice is guaranteed a start every single game. Like he's guaranteed. Come on,
because he's there, but he's
no. I'm not knocking that he's not a bad player because
but you can't still be trying to do that.
Like we're even hindering his development by bringing in Joe Willock. Like I still question that. Like, albeit he's a good player sometimes, but why are we bringing in players from other teams to hinder our homegrown? It's like, again, same with you guys. If you used to bring someone over Declan Rice, you'd be like, Declan Rice is one of our own, but and we're hindering him. Do you know what I'm saying? It makes sense.
There's no real comparison. Let's just come on. Like, let's just be real. Okay. Like, there's no, I don't think there ever, like, there was. Maybe it was closer, but I don't think, like, I think it was always clear who that Declan Rice was the better player, I believe. In my humble opinion, Declan Rice always was the better player, and that's why when Steve Bruce weren't even in charge, I believe, when he shushed him, you know, and your whole fan base, I don't think Steve Bruce was even in charge, and he, you know, silenced him. But no, with the game tomorrow, with banter aside, I am worried. Of course, I'm worried because, you know, like you look at these games, anytime we get your game where we should win it on paper. You guys talked about, you know, your games where you tend to, these teams that you're not expected to beat, you beat, and then the other teams you don't. Even though we've changed that mentality this season and we have been picking up points against teams that on paper we should be beating, we have done it. The West Ham in me is always going to be worried, and like you said, you've got Wilson back who loves a goal against West Ham. You've got, say, Maximin Almiron. So you've got a deadly attack. The thing that I think it works in our favour is we have been starting very, very quick. That was actually a problem before. We used to start so slow, but now we've been coming out the gates flying. And you've got, you know, Lingard is on the form of his life. 8 goals, 4 assists in 9 games. So you know, him up there with flipping Bowen. We've got Fornals. We've got the potential of Ben Rama as well to come in. You know, you've Noble actually, who everyone was writing off Noble. He's been performing well in that holding role these past few games. With Souček, we got you ain't going to be going up against no Zabaleta this time on the right. You got my man Sufal, the warrior. Yeah, you got Sufal, Vladimir the Impaler. Right, that's who you're dealing with on the right hand side now. We're going to have to see what's happening with Creswell. He's 50-50 whether he's going to be playing. But you know, then we've got a Diop. Probably Balbuena will come back in. And then we've got obviously Masuaku on the left. So we've still got a team that's capable of beating Newcastle. You've got players that are capable of hurting us. And Pete was right earlier. We have been conceding goals, you know, but we've been outscoring teams a lot of the time. And I believe that your attack is probably your strongest part of your team. And our attack is our strongest part of our team. So it's all about who outscores the other. And it depends. I mean, we know St. Maximin's coming. He looked good the other day, but is Wilson and Almiron, are they going to come back and hit the ground running? Or they need a bit of time? That's the question marks. I believe that we can do it, but there's always a chance, isn't there, that you know, on the day you just never know. And you've got players that, like I said, can hurt us. So you can't write off Newcastle. That's why some fans in the comments have been super confident. I'm never, ever, no matter for any game, super confident.
I feel like we're just easy to play against, though. Like, our main threat is ASM. Like, it's clear to see from everyone else's point of view. Stick 2 men on him, and he's nullified. Like, and then when it's all ASM focused, Miggy goes missing, and then Shelby goes missing, and then who else we got left? I mean, and then the service stops to get to Wilson, and then that's it. And then I think, if I'm correct, in the previous game, was it 2 set pieces that you scored from when you last played up at St. James's Park? So again, that's what we need to kind of be wary of. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It depends how. It also depends on how we use ASM as well. If he starts the game or if he comes on. Do you know what I mean? Like, I like to see him start, but again, obviously Bruce is feels like he's a bit more effective when he comes on, and he's running against tired legs, so it's depending on him. But
that would be 2 back-to-back wins for you guys as well, which would be huge. And that's
it's 3, no?
Right. No, you drew before that against Spurs, okay. I think. Yeah. So we've only had 1 loss in 5. You've only had 1 loss in 5, so you know what I mean. Like he's turning it around. He's turning it around.
That's the thing. That's the thing. You know, looking at you know, look away from this game in particular. You know, you look at our run of results, and we, apart from the Brighton game, the Brighton game's the anomaly where we got absolutely hammered, and rightly so, because we were awful. You know, that's the anomaly. We picked up points in every other game, and that's what Fulham did to get back into this race for survival. They just managed to pick up points here, there, and everywhere, just to put pressure on the teams above them. But they've kind of dropped off now. But we've still been picking up points here and there. And I think if we win
tomorrow, would effectively make you safe.
Yeah, but just about to say exactly that. If we win tomorrow, I think we're safe, because I don't think
9 points
Brighton get any more than 35. Sorry, not Brighton. I don't think Fulham get any more than 35 points this season. And I think with games where we've still got to play Arsenal at home, where we've still got to play Sheffield United at home, and then Fulham are on the last day, I think we'd get plus 45 points. Sorry, 35 points if we win tomorrow. I just think we've got a great chance. I think I personally wouldn't start Wilson. I'd bring him on. I think he needs more minutes. He looked quite tired towards the end, bearing in mind he'd only played 30 minutes in 9 weeks. I'd bring him on as an impact player. I would start St. Maximin like Clinton said. I'd get him on from the beginning, because, like you said, you guys start you guys start on fire. And that's been your biggest thing, is that you give yourself a great head start. The one thing that we need to do tomorrow is stop that head start. I think if we can get to half time and we're either level pegging or we're winning, I think as the game goes on, you guys start to tire and gaps start to appear in your defence that teams can pick off. Now, interestingly, we score more goals in the second half than we do in the first half. we're better in the second half than we are in the first. I do think that will play a part. If we can hold
another mad game.
off, if I think we can hold you off for the first 45 minutes and make it really difficult for you to get yourself ahead in the game, or if we're going in at halftime leading, I actually think that we'll be in a great position to get something from the game, and I think we'll be in a position where we could win it. And that's why, like, you know, above the other reason, I think that's why I'm confident that we'll at least get a point. And a point for me, I'd take it right now, because a point for me puts you seven away from Fulham. Fulham then go away to Arsenal later that evening, or I think it's tomorrow, Sunday, sorry, and they've got it all to do there.
That's so. Richard B says, "What are you guys like at defending crosses?"
I think we're like a vampire. We hate crosses, mate. You know what I mean? we're terrible.
Apart from Fede Fernandez. Fede Fernandez is a giant for a lad that's not that tall. The guy's an absolute monster in the air. He tends to win everything. His timing is perfection, but he's the only one really. If you can make sure that Souček and one or two others are not being marked by him, you've got a chance of nicking the ball. However, the way that Dubravka defended his goal area against Burnley, who were also very aerial in terms of whacking balls into the box, he collected and got rid of everything last Sunday. So we're going to need a similar performance from him again, because he was fantastic. So, you know, that's what, if you can stop him coming out and collecting, if you can stop Fede Fernandez getting on the end of things and getting rid of stuff, I think you'll struggle. But I think set pieces and counter-attacks are your two ways in which you're going to score.
I saw Zahid's comment, looking very confident there, the one from before.
What's that say?
After the break, that's what he'd said.
Listen, I want to see us score 4, because if we score 4, I probably don't have to worry. It's been scoring 3.
When you guys are coming to collect your man Shelby, man, you've been promising for years to come collecting. Come collect your boy, man.
No, Shelby goal, you know. Shelby loves playing against West Ham.
We don't want him no more, man. Listen,
you know what? It was funny. Like a couple of our guys who do fan cams on our channel, like quite a few years ago, bumped into Sullivan in a car park and said, like, you know, why don't we sign Shelby? And then Sullivan effectively said, Shelby's not good enough. He's not good enough for West Ham. That was Sullivan's words out of his own mouth. So we're never signing Shelby as long as Sullivan is.
I thought he was iron through and through, man. Take him, man. Come take your boy, man.
Shelby, red card. Yeah, I think Shelby, you know, he's got a lot to handle in that midfield. So there could be a red card, and he does get a few red cards, didn't he? Shelby? He had that season where he was just collecting them like Pokemon cards.
You know what? You look at his record, his disciplinary in the last 3 or 4 years. He's been really good. He's been really good.
Been on his best move in the centre spot, Pete. That's why it's a move, mate.
Over recent years, you're right. He doesn't move enough to get yellow cards, but he's an awful tackler in the middle of the park, and he does get yellow cards for tackles in the game. But actually, if you look at his disciplinary record over the last 3 or 4 years, he's actually been really good at Newcastle. I think he's maybe only been sent off one. But yeah,
so why are you trying to give him to us then? Why do you want to keep him?
Because you like old men in the middle. Then you got Mark Noble who's still rolling around. Didn't it, Mark? I'm still gonna do it, mate. Still gonna roll out in the centre.
Shelby,
watch him boss you tomorrow. Watch him boss you tomorrow.
Probably will. Be like, yeah, still got it, mate.
He will.
The difference is that
he's going to score.
Comparison to John Joe Shelby and Mark Noble is that Mark Noble is not on 80 grand a week, like sitting there. He playing his 90 minutes in a box. You know, that's what Shelby does. He barely moves. He does a crossfield 40-yard pass here and there, and that's about it. But the guy's on 80 grand a week. He's one of our most expensive.
And I'm sorry, prime Mark Noble is so clear of Shelby. I'm sorry, Shelby has never had a season as good as Mark Noble's best season. Put both their best seasons side by side. Yeah.
Didn't Mark Noble invent crab football? Like, he only goes side to side. Like,
nah, listen, Mark Noble in that last season at Upton Park, he should have been in that England squad. West Ham fans will know because we watch him week in, week out. We know what Mark Noble can do. He's 33 years old now. He's older than Shelby. But I'm not. Listen, you
I'm not
you don't know what.
Come on.
Nah, but you don't know what prime Mark Noble was capable of. The bangers that he could score, and he's one of the best penalty takers. He's the best penalty taker in the league, hand on heart.
That's all. I'll be honest. That's all I know him for. What's
Shelby known for? Looking like Voldemort. Like
that's not a disrespect. At the same time, you're right. I don't watch Mark Noble to the point where you guys know him. You guys know him a hell of a lot more than I do. But I only really ever see Mark Noble get mentioned for the fact that he scores a penalty. And the only times that I've seen him play is against us. And to be fair, John Joe Shelby's overran him at times when he's played against him, which says a lot because he's a guy that we want out the club because he don't work hard enough. But he seems to always outwork Mark Noble when he plays against him.
This is older Mark Noble. Mark Noble's older than Shelby. Mark Noble's older than Shelby.
Mark Noble's got no pace, vision. What's he got? What was he got?
Talking about? What are you talking pace? Well, Shelby's not known for his pace. I'm sorry. Well, how many 100 meters
That's the only one
he's winning?
Shelby, I'll give him once in a blue moon. He's got a ping. What does Noble bringing to the table? Or
he's got pings. Noble was known for his pings and his
on the golf course. What? Come on.
Do you know what? As well, let's see. I want to see who scored more goals as well in the who's got more goals in their career. Yeah, John Joe Shelby.
Penalties. He takes penalties, bro. Of course.
No, but Mark Noble has scored some bangers. He has scored some bangers in his career.
The one thing I'll say that, and I'm not saying that Shelby's better than Noble, but Shelby's got more England caps and he's played Champions League football.
Yeah, but listen, that's a team. This is a team thing. Mark Noble, right? Yeah, but listen, who was the manager who picked Shelby? Who picked him?
I had a question actually. I'm not sure. Was it not Fabio Capello? Was it Capello?
Jeez, that's going some time. That's going some time back when we probably thought Shelby would be a young prodigy. Yeah, but listen, Mark Noble is a leader.
Mark Noble played at the same time when Capello was around. Capello.
Yeah, but where's Capello? Where's Capello now? What did he do? What happened to him? Shit manager.
Shit manager.
He's gone upstairs now. He's gone upstairs.
What did he do for England? What did he do? What did he do with England? What did Shelby do?
When he called up Shelby, he's like, "Do you know who Mark Noble is?" Nah. All right, cheers.
And what did he achieve? What did Shelby do in that for England?
You got England guys.
Yeah. And what did England do? Nothing. Nothing. Right? Absolutely nothing. Don't talk to me about some crap England manager. Yeah. And like, he didn't pick. Maybe if he did pick Noble, England would have been in a better position. They might have got
right. Yeah, happy for Declan Rice, England caps, right? Yeah.
Let's talk. If you want to talk about midfielders, right? England caps. Let me not put all of my cards on the table, right? Because but listen, Mark Noble's a leader. He gives you so much more off the pitch and on the pitch in that role. He turns up he's turned up for so many big games. He will give 100%. You know what I mean? Listen, to us, he's invaluable. Like Martin, I love Martin.
Your nerves.
Yeah, he's got some. He's getting older. He's found different ways to play.
He's like an East End Robbie Savage. Like he's even one of them, and just start getting.
Listen. Mark Noble. He is. Listen, Mark Noble. I have seen him do some stuff on the pitch. Some skills.
What did you do?
I've seen him. Listen, go back and watch West Ham. Yeah, 2015, 2016. Buy the DVD. You'll go see Noble.
Buy the DVD. Was his Tottenham? Since a Tottenham fan trying to buy the DVD.
Get the DVD.
Mark Noble's greatest hits: 2 penalties and a red card. Is that what we're doing now? Come on. I know it's late. Don't go to sleep yet.
The one thing you will see is, and I do agree with you on this, is that Mark Noble, if he's fit, I don't know if he's fit or not. There was talk that he might not be, but if he is fit, Mark Noble and Shelby will both be wearing the armband tomorrow.
Oh Lord!
It's gonna be a straight shootout. Now, the one thing that Noble has got above Shelby is that he is a leader. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
He wears the armband with passion. He gives everything for the cause. Shelby does not. Do I think Shelby's more talented than Noble? 100% I do. but I don't think he shows it, and I don't think he has shown it over the course of his career. He could have been anything he wanted to be, but the problem is his mentality is poor. He doesn't work hard enough. And that's what we're seeing as Newcastle fans.
Shelby would have been the perfect retirement signing for you guys, but now you guys have gone clear. You're signing England international. Now, come on, now, Dad,
you need the retirement signings. You know what? You need to be begging us for Mark Noble end of season, mate. Like you need to be trying to come to us with your hat in your hand. Please.
We don't take Mark Nobles. Come on,
you need our scraps. You need our scraps.
Our policy is young bucks. We don't take no old man like coming over with the crutches and that. Like, come on now.
Listen, you guys sign overrated French players. That's your guys' policy.
That's our thing. Overrated French players. Thank you. See, Yeah. So we would have taken that. We ain't taking no Mark Noble. We ain't taking no East End boy. Whereas Shelby, before the whole, we only signed Ben Ramas and Lingard now. Do you know what I mean? You would have taken Shelby hands down. Come on.
No, but that's what I said. We was never taking him. Sullivan said he's crap. And he's right. One thing I agree with him.
You took Jack Wilshere.
No, but it's that no, but you can't tell me Wilshere is not a better player than Shelby.
Did he play that in claret and blue?
No, but he's injured. That's the problem. Injuries. You like Pete was just talking about this great player that Shelby could have been if he cared, but he didn't.
He was injured when he got to you. Listen, that's what I'm saying. That is your
the best thing about Shelby is he's a West Ham fan. That's the best thing I can say about him. He's a West Ham fan.
He's made for you. Go take him.
Too late. Listen, just because you took Carroll back, don't mean we've got who's a Geordie fan and that.
That would be perfect. If Carroll scores the winner, oh lords, you might as well block me, Dan. Seriously, like if he scores a bicycle kick, if he scores one of these against you lot, boy,
his career will be done. He'll have to retire from injury if he tries that. I'm telling you. If he
scores a bicycle kick and he goes over to Brady and does one of them.
Do you know what? So I'm going to push you guys for a prediction now. Is that what you're predicting? No, Carroll, is that your prediction?
Carroll will be lucky if he even gets minutes tomorrow.
Exactly. No, Pete, you might get the run out because he's probably got a bet on with Bruce. Like, I bet you I can give you 5 minutes. Cool, I'll split you. Do you know what I mean? Remember that substitution that he came on for like 2 minutes? You know that was a backhander. You know that was a backhander.
That was against West Brom.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what's your prediction then? What are you actually predicting? If it's not a Andy Carroll winner, what is it?
I'm going for a draw, but I'd love an Andy Carroll winner just for bants. Just for bants. Set up by John Joe Shelby. A kind of a Stevie G, Slippy G, Mark Noble moment. John Joe Shelby plays Carroll in, hits a 35-yard worldie, and then runs over to Karen Brady and does that in front of her face. That would be the icing on the cake. And if that does, click this up, and this bad boy will go viral. I'll tell you that now.
If you know what, if we smash you, like we'll be clipping. If Mark Noble scores a banger, there'll be clips going. Oh, the clipping up will be beautiful. Please, Mark Noble, score a banger. What about you, Pete? You're the more confident of the Magpies. What's your prediction?
As I've said, like even the weeks building up to this, I've always thought that this is a game that we could target. That I thought we could win. Even more so than the Burnley away on Sunday. I still think we'll win. I think we'll win 2-1. I think it'll be an end-to-end game. I think there'll be a lot of chances for both teams. But I just think, and I've said it before, we play our better football at home, and we have done ever since Graham Jones has come in. We've played our better football at home. We've looked more attacking. We've played with more intent at home than we have away from home. And our record against you guys, and the fact that you guys have got injuries and you've got question marks over a number of players, and you've been on such a good run now for so long, I think at some point it will end. And I believe that it'll be tomorrow.
I can't see the team that have just scored 9 goals in 3 games just scoring 1 goal tomorrow. I'm going for us to continue the trend, but improve defensively. And I'm going to say 3-1 West Ham. I am obviously a bit nervous because it could be a banana skin this game. Potentially one of them ones where we look to and we, like I said, we could be due it. But yeah, Lingard. I think Bowen's back in form now. Fornals is playing really well. We've got Ben Rama to come on, and he's hungry for a goal. You know, we got Souček is just Souček, and like we have threats. And when it goes to set pieces, if we start getting corners, we have so many threats in that box. If it comes to it, so look, I think it'll be 3-1. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet because of the attacking players you've got, but I expect us to not give us as much of a heart attack. There'll be that period probably where you guys are on top and you're peppering us and stuff like that. But I think we'll keep it a little bit tighter this time, and we'll shut it out. And yeah, you guys will get one goal. That's what I'd be happy to see a 1-0 boring win, and just like that's what I want to see. I can't take any more of these 3-2s and 3-3s, and I want something relaxing. So I don't know what some players are doubt whether we have Ogbonna back, whether we have Creswell's going to be fit. We'll see. We're going to find out in the morning. Listen, either you two are going to be happy or I'm going to be happy. I'm hoping I'm watching you guys raging on your channel tomorrow. That's what I'm banking on. I want to see it. I want to see you guys fuming and going, it was Steve Bruce. It was Steve Bruce. That's why Noble scored that banger in the top bins. Steve. That's what I'm dying to see. But no, thank you guys for coming on out. It was a good laugh. Like obviously, you know, me and Clinton always have a good laugh and a lot of banter, and it was a good addition for you to bring you on, P. I just wish Jace could have been here and not got himself pissed up the lightweight. But next time, you know, we'll get him on it. So no, I really appreciate it. And do everyone check out Geordies Down South. Like I said, it's a really good channel. You know, it's one of my favorite channels to watch on Newcastle and find out what these guys are saying. And that's what it's about. You know, like you've got to have a bit of a laugh with football. If you take the game too seriously, it drives you crazy. And I think when you have a bit of banter, when you have a bit of laugh, it just makes things, you know, it makes things a little bit more bearable, doesn't it? And I think we can all laugh at each other and laugh at ourselves. And hopefully I'm the one who's laughing last. Well, listen, whether you win or not, I'll have the last laugh come end of the season, so it don't matter. It's obvious, isn't it? Like, there's no way I don't think mathematically you can catch us, but we'll see. But either way, look, it's all about bragging rights on the day, and I know if you guys win, I'm gonna hear about it. So please. So yeah, no, like tell everyone where they can find you in every aspect of this social media world.
Yeah, as you said, Geordies Down South on YouTube. That's where us two and Fumbi is as well. And then individually on Twitter, you can find me Clinton_Ford. That's Ford with an E. Pete.
Yeah, again, Geordies Down South. Those boys are always chatting Newcastle. So if you want to join in, please get involved. And then me, I'm on Twitter at Daves2010. I'm on there, usually ranting about Newcastle in some way, shape, or form, whether it's Steve Bruce or whether it's about the takeover. Yeah, I'm always on there with an opinion. So yeah, get involved.
You can check out Grassroots TV as well, Clinton's platform for Sunday League football, lower league football, and which is a really good platform if you're into that, if you're passionate about your grassroots football. It's a really good platform, and you've had some really some really good guests on, actually, some really good interviews. You've had Trevor Sinclair. We had an interview with Trevor Sinclair, which was really good. So do check that out. And I know a lot of people who subscribe to us are really passionate about grassroots football. So if you want to follow that and find out how you can support it, and you know, maybe get some of the snazzy. I've seen you modeling some of these snazzy kits that you've been getting from these teams. Some of these a little bit more interesting than the old black and white stripes.
Definitely.
A little bit more leery. So which is good. A good fun kits and
a lot cheaper as well. A lot cheaper.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. The prices that a lot of these kit companies try and rip us all off with, you know, even West Ham and stuff, £60 for a shirt and all of this madness. So yeah, do check that out. And yeah, of course, let's, you know, like and comment all this stuff. West Ham Fan TV. Do check out my other channel with Jace, who's, he said, there it is, Dan, Damo, and Jace. I have to put it up on screen because everyone puts 2 M's in Damo. We're building our studio. Studio's getting built now. Big things coming in about a month's time. So if you guys could all support that, subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000. That would be lovely. But yeah, thank you to everyone in the live chat. It's been really good reading your comments and stuff like that, and a lot of confident hammers. And some of them I didn't want to put. I don't want to be too confident. I don't want to jinx things. Let's just see what happens. So, guys, yeah, once again, thank you very much. And I'm sure one of us will be hearing from each other tomorrow. that's for sure. That's for sure. So once again, thank you everyone for watching. We will see you tomorrow morning. You've got the pre-match, I can't remember what the hell they're calling it, the pre-big match build up with Graham and Ryan, and then into the watch along where you can see me and Nikki be complete nervous wrecks, especially me. So look out for that. Enjoy your Friday. Have a good night, everyone. One thing left to say: come on, you Irons.